Imagine a story without a beginning, a middle, or an end. A man found dead on a beach, his identity erased, his past a ghost. What if I told you that this isn't just a grim curiosity, but a chilling testament to a conspiracy so deep, so expertly executed, that even today, after more than 75 years, the truth remains buried beneath layers of carefully crafted deception? What if the most baffling part of this entire saga isn't the man's death itself, but the astonishing efforts taken to ensure he could never be identified? To understand this profound and unsettling enigma, we must first transport ourselves back to the serene yet ultimately fateful morning of December 1st, 1948. The setting, Somerton Park Beach, a tranquil strip of sand in Adelaide, South Australia. The sun was just beginning to kiss the horizon, casting long shadows, when two unsuspecting passers-by stumbled upon a sight that would echo through history, baffling generations of investigators, cryptographers, and armchair detectives. Lying peacefully against the seawall as if asleep was a well-dressed man, his head resting on the wall, feet crossed, and an unlit cigarette dangling from his collar. His age was estimated to be around 40-45. He appeared to all initial observations to be nothing more than a man enjoying a peaceful slumber on a warm summer's night. But this was no peaceful slumber. The man was dead. And with his death began one of the most haunting and enduring unsolved mysteries of the 20th century, a case that would come to be known simply as the Somerton Man, or more ominously, the mystery of the unknown man. What made this discovery so immediately perplexing was not merely the death itself, but the stunning, almost surgical lack of identifying information. There were no marks of violence, no struggle, nothing to immediately suggest foul play beyond the sheer unsettling quietude of his demise. Yet, from the very first moments, an invisible hand seemed to have meticulously erased every trace of who this man was. His clothing, though well-maintained, bore no laundry marks, no labels that could lead back to a tailor or a specific region. His pockets, when searched, yielded only the most mundane, almost deliberately generic items: a train ticket to Henley Beach, a bus ticket, a comb, a packet of chewing gum, a box of matches, and 2 pennies. Not a wallet, no identifying papers, no watch, nothing. It was as if he had been carefully sanitized, his past wiped clean, before being placed on that beach. The initial autopsy, conducted by Dr. John Dwyer, only deepened the mystery, pushing it from a simple case of an unknown deceased individual into the realm of the truly macabre. The pathologist concluded that the man had died of heart failure, yet there was significant congestion in his internal organs. Crucially, toxicology reports in 1948 were far less sophisticated than today. While common poisons were ruled out, the possibility that he was poisoned by a substance that rapidly metabolized or was, at the time, undetectable, could not be dismissed. His last meal, a pasty, was found in his stomach. But here's where the story takes a truly sinister turn. The size of his spleen was significantly enlarged, and there was internal bleeding. These weren't typical symptoms of a natural heart attack. Dwyer strongly suspected poisoning, suggesting a powerful, fast-acting, and perhaps expertly administered poison. This was no ordinary death. Someone, it seemed, wanted this man gone, and wanted him gone silently, without a trace, and with extraordinary precision. But why? Further investigation revealed something even more bewildering. Weeks after the initial discovery, a search of the luggage cloakroom at Adelaide railway station, prompted by the unredeemed train ticket found on the body, led to a brown suitcase. Inside, more clothing, a tie, slippers, and a shaving brush. Again, no identification. But unlike the clothing on the body, some items in the suitcase bore faint, almost erased, identifying marks. 3 specific names or initials. T. Keene, Keene. And one more, stamped under a vest. Keene. Was this his name? A lead? No, immigration officials could find no record of anyone entering Australia under that name. And the items, upon closer inspection, exhibited a chilling detail. All the clothing labels had been carefully, deliberately cut out or erased. Not torn out in haste, but meticulously removed. Someone had gone to extreme lengths to ensure this man's identity remained a secret, not just from the world, but seemingly even from himself. This wasn't merely a John Doe, this was a man whose past had been surgically excised. Then the infamous, almost legendary breakthrough arrived. In April 1949, almost 5 months after the body was discovered, a small, tightly rolled piece of paper was found hidden in a secret fob pocket sewn into the deceased man's trousers. The pocket itself was cunningly concealed, almost as if designed to remain undiscovered. The scrap of paper contained just 2 words, printed in a distinctive, almost poetic font, Tamam Shud. These words, translated from Persian as finished or ended, were identified as the final words from a collection of poems known as the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. This discovery was monumental. It wasn't just a clue, it was a defiant, cryptic taunt. The police launched a public appeal, searching for the specific edition of the Rubaiyat from which the slip had been torn. Miraculously, a local man came forward. He had found a copy of the very rare New Zealand-published The Rubaiyat in the back seat of his unlocked car, which had been parked near Somerton Beach. The final page from which the Tamam Shud scrap was torn was missing. On the back cover of this recovered book, detectives found 5 lines of seemingly random letters, faintly inscribed in pencil, a code, a cipher, and below it, a phone number. The phone number belonged to a woman, a former nurse named Jessica Harkness, later identified as Joe Thompson, who lived a mere 400 meters from where the Somerton man was found. When questioned, she initially denied knowing the man, despite owning the very book that held the cryptic clue. However, a detective noted that her reaction upon seeing a plaster bust of the deceased man was one of shock and recognition. She seemed on the verge of fainting and refused to speak further. Later, she admitted to giving a copy of the Rubaiyat to a man named Alfred Boxall, a military officer during World War II. Boxall, however, was found alive and well, still in possession of his own copy of the Rubaiyat, with the Tamam Shud page perfectly intact. The plot thickened, twisting into a spiderweb of international espionage and covert operations. The coded message, despite intensive efforts from cryptographers, including the military, remained unbroken. Some lines were crossed out, perhaps indicating false leads or discarded information. The sheer professionalism of the erasure of identity, the precision of the suspected poisoning, and the cryptic Rubaiyat connection all pointed away from a simple tragic death and towards something far more complex, far more insidious. Was the Somerton man a spy? Was Jessica Harkness a handler or merely an unwitting pawn? Her later-born son Robin bore striking physical resemblances to the Somerton man, including a rare dental condition and ear abnormalities, fueling speculation that she knew much more than she let on and that the man was his father. But she took her secrets to the grave. What they discovered next altered everything, moving the case from simply baffling to profoundly disturbing. Years later, further forensic examination of the suitcase revealed a small, almost imperceptible piece of thread. This wasn't just any thread, it was a uniquely manufactured orange thread, used in America to stitch coats, and a gray thread, similar to those used by an Australian company that repaired bags for the military. These details, though seemingly minor, were pivotal. They suggested an international connection, a man whose movements spanned continents, potentially engaged in activities that demanded absolute secrecy. The meticulously cut labels, the secret pocket, the undetected poison, the coded message, the beautiful Persian poetry as a death warrant. It all spoke of an individual entangled in a world of shadows and whispers, a world where identity itself was a weapon and anonymity a shield. To this day, the Somerton man remains unidentified, his story a chilling, unfinished symphony. His body was exhumed again in 2021, and DNA analysis has since provided some promising leads, indicating a possible genetic match to a family tree. Professor Derek Abbott, a lead investigator, believes the man's name may have been Carl Charles Webb. But even if a name is finally put to the face, The immense, almost maniacal lengths taken to erase his identity, and the lingering questions about the Tamam Shud code and the shadowy world it implies, persist. What was he doing? Who was he working for? And who determined that his existence needed to be erased so completely? We may never truly know the full truth of the Somerton man, only the unsettling certainty that some secrets are meant to remain buried, their stories tamam shud. But as long as these mysteries endure, they serve as a chilling reminder that, beneath the veneer of ordinary life, there are always deeper layers, darker conspiracies, and truths that threaten to rewrite everything we thought we knew.